Okay, so now he's known as the BDSP hacker. Dun dun dun. In order to truly know what's going on here, you will need to have an IQ above 0. In other words, if you're a Publicify simp, you can't be helped. You can't think for yourself, and well, you're part of the echo chamber that he's been living in for nearly a decade now. But for everyone else above that 0 IQ nation, here's what's really going on. Okay, it's interesting that we're at the Wayback Machine website because a certain cave dweller had nothing better to do with their time than to write another character assassination piece on Glick over a now deleted but harmless tweet. Now, a few things to note here is the fact that Publicify points out that he's the former world champion. So him bringing all of this shit to light is interesting because he's pretending, because it helps his narrative of course, that Glick still has some kind of association with the Pokemon company. Hashtag play Pokemon or whatever. So his first mistake in his character assassination hit piece is not getting the tense of his adjectives correct. Is he the world champion or is he the former world champion? But hey, that's that classic disassociation with the titles in his clickbait, the content of his clickbait, and of course the world-class 0 IQ thumbnails that he uses in his clickbait as well. And so what if he's looking for someone capable of modding Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl? What is that supposed to mean exactly? Did he break a law? This could mean a lot of things. See, that's the difference between the 0 IQ simp nation that makes up Publicify's echo chamber and everyone else that can think for themselves and fact check the bullshit that he spews. So what does Wolfe mean exactly when he says looking for someone capable of modding BDSP? Does it mean he's looking for someone to mod his copy of the game? We don't know. This is where you decide if this is admissible evidence or circumstantial evidence. Much like the bullshit that Kurt, aka Kafadix, presented a few weeks ago where he presented nothing more than circumstantial evidence. Yes, this has always been and will always be circumstantial evidence. Coming from a hacker pretending to have a moral compass, calling out all of the cheaters who used a cheat program he created to create the very things he's calling out is laughable enough, and everything you need to know about this cave dweller who ironically needs to touch grass. That's just like a drug dealer bitching and moaning because instead of people paying him for supplying them drugs, they just prefer to get high off them instead, while he obtusely takes that personally. We don't know if these individuals created these illegally generated Pokemon or not. Whether they did or didn't doesn't mean that these Pokemon cannot be legally obtained otherwise. That's right, because they have legal stats regardless, so prove that they illegally generated those Pokemon. Therefore, you'll finally have admissible evidence and do more than be a cave-dwelling man-child crying about values in a child's video game that you can only know through hacking when you created the program for them to use to create said Pokemon. Oh, they're responsible for their Pokemon? Well, just because I bought groceries with a counterfeit $20 bill doesn't mean I'm running my own US currency out of my basement. We don't know what Glick means by this exactly. Is he not allowed to live his own life just because cave-dwelling man-children can't mind their own fucking business because they have no business to mind? Where's the ball and chain that prevents him from doing whatever? You mean to tell me out of all of the content creators on YouTube that Glick matters the most because he's the former world champion, not the current world champion? That really hurts his narrative even more. And then he just cry about people already pirating Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So why does it matter just because you found a deleted tweet on waybackmachine.com of Glick talking about the same old news? Oh, that's right. He just says shit that's based off of no logic whatsoever, presents and regurgitates circumstantial shit, and his character assassination ploy once again is complete.
When Kurt said that they all cheated. Why isn't anyone listening to me? Listen to me. They cheated. They're wrong. They're evil people. Why won't anyone listen to me? I hate this community, but yet I'm still here trying to make some clout and add revenue off of it. I got the facts, but I live in a nearly decade-old echo chamber.
And there it is right there. Mr. Always Right, who always has the facts, loves to spout and regurgitate the same shit he's been regurgitating regurgitating for nearly a decade now. He keeps doing that because he lives in an echo chamber. In other words, Publicify isn't close to proving and debunking anything, let alone presenting any facts anytime soon, until he demolishes that brain-dead echo chamber he continues to live in. If I'm confident and right about anything, I wouldn't need to repeat myself over and over and over and over again, the very definition of a classic attention whore. Of course he's gonna suck off Nintendo because it helps his narrative, duh. But this is to ignore the fact that people have so many issues with Nintendo thanks to their inability to truly understand how the copyright laws work. Nintendo doesn't want to have that conversation because they know people will have done and will continue to do better things than they ever will with their own fucking IP. And they can't cope with the fact that there's more than one way to skin an IP that everyone loves when it comes to the ins and outs of people already owning that IP in some form. So let's see what Nintendo has to say. And then we'll look at the laws that they want to pretend don't exist because it goes against their philosophy and basic ability to comprehend. It's illegal to download a Nintendo ROM from the internet whether or not you own an authentic copy of that game. That's true. You can't just download any random ROM off of the internet because you don't know the authenticity of it and you don't own it. Keep that point in mind. And we already know how copyright works. We all know the many IPs that Nintendo owns. But look at this. Under United States law, obtaining a dumped copy of the original machine's BIOS is legal under the ruling Louis Galoob Toys Incorporated versus Nintendo of America Incorporated as fair use as long as the user obtained a legally purchased copy of the machine. Which means if you own a legal copy of Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, you are able to dump and obtain that copy. That's fair use. That's your legal right because you purchased it, and that's the equivalent of archiving, i.e. backing up your original purchase. Under Section 117, you or someone you authorize may make a copy of an original computer program if the new copy is being made for archival purposes only. You are the legal owner of the copy. Those are the laws, ladies and gents. We don't care if Nintendo gets vaginal because people under these legal constraints are doing things that they choose to be threatened by because their IP is a part of them. Nintendo, just like this kid, tries to make this a black and white thing, but the law says no, we don't do that here. So that's what you really need to know. Big surprise, soy boy Publicify is just butthurt because once again someone else has obtained success in a child's video game he will never taste, and his dead platform is once again used for another session of ineffective therapy against that harsh reality he has to deal with for the rest of his sad, not to mention miserable life. And now for another zero IQ moment. Cindy, another brain dead Publicify simp, says,
You can clearly tell that your channel is getting harassed.
"Oh, the fucking irony. Oh, the fucking irony. Oh, the fucking irony." He is so vaginal that he made a community post about it less than an hour ago. But yeah, sure, Publicify is getting harassed.
By the fact that you have almost 500,000 subs and many of your videos are under 10,000 views, people can't handle the truth.
I was gonna say Publicify is posting from another burner account, but this is just another yes child that comprises the echo chamber that he lives in. Who says that Publicify doesn't have a dumb child audience that he is grooming to believe the bullshit he's been regurgitating for nearly a decade now? And look at this, guys. I'm not gonna even look at the screen.
Counsel for being against lying, cheating, and stealing. What a world.
God damn, he's so predictable. It's the same line in Delusion of Grandeur. Yeah, a world that doesn't revolve around him. Because that's the thing, ladies and gents. Publicify is a delusional and clout-chasing cry bully, desperately seeking validation. He has tried and failed miserably to play this moral gatekeeper for nearly a decade now. And if you don't do what he says, share his philosophy, agree with him, etc., you're the problem. It's always everyone else but Publicify. Because he spouts this character assassinating and holier than thou propaganda that he has been attacking and trying to cancel everyone else with.
Oh, somebody else popular who has a lot of views, who has a lot of followers, that creates Pokemon related content. You're my nemesis. Wolfe Glick, I'ma suck you. You're a fraud. You're lying. You're cheating.
Name how many people that mod their Switches, mod their games, do all of these things that won't immediately have them swatted. I don't see him making a video on them. Wolfe Glick is a success, Publicify is a failure. They are both rooted in Pokemon. Figure the rest out. As he projects, he once again has a moment of self-awareness. He counseled himself, and he has to lullaby himself to sleep with delusions of grandeur. This is why no one will work with Publicify. This is why no one watches his content. Holy shit, the latest and greatest Pokemon games that Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl aren't, then garner him enough views that he's always scraping for. So guess what time it is again, ladies and gents, until Pokemon Legends Arceus, and we already know what his brain dead take on that game is, but you know he'll get it. Talk stupid shit about it, but we'll try to get all the ad revenue we can off of that. Rinse and repeat. Once again, Publicify predictability. Look at this 5-year-old shit. This motherfucker is Wolfe Glick's deranged mistress. This man-child is stalking another man's tweets just to get clicks off of and character assassinate him. But Wolfe Glick is the bad guy. How fucking mentally defunct can this kid get?